How did you start playing disc golf?
Well, I used to play a lot of catch frisbee. With some buddies of mine, they lived in the neighborhood where the disc golf course was going into, but hadn't went into yet. I knew nothing about disc golf, so I liked to throw a lot of frisbees. Used to go to the beach and throw a lot. And I threw a lot of like Whammo 165 black mid, the big ones, beach frisbees and stuff. And we would throw it in the park. The disc golf course went into Cliff Stevens Park. There was a big light in the parking lot. We would throw till the wee hours of the morning sometimes. I probably threw hundreds of thousands of throws before I ever heard about disc golf in the park where it was going into. It was just kind of weird, coincidental. But I played ball golf as a kid, played ball golf for my high school team, loved the game of golf. And when I got out of high school, basically found out that I had to pay for golf because in school, golf was free. You had to practice with the team and all that. So once I started to have to pay for golf, I was like, kind of searching something else out. My brother said, well, there's some frisbee golf course just went into Cliff Stevens Park, and I know you know some guys up in that neighborhood and stuff. So I went out there and looked around, didn't see anything. I was like, what are you talking about, frisbee golf course? I didn't see anything that remotely looked like a frisbee golf course. That's because there was no baskets at that point. There was just wooden posts that were painted red in the area you need to hit them. So I didn't know. They weren't very well marked or anything. I couldn't really tell what was going on there. And then I finally saw somebody doing it. When I was out there, I saw someone basically played it from this spot, and then they went down to that post and hit the post. And I was like, oh, okay, that's what that's for. So the first 6 months or so of my playing career, I played with posts. No baskets. Didn't even know what a basket looked like at that point.
Object disc golf, right?
Object disc golf, which, it's the same difference. You just got to hit your target.
Yeah.
But that's kind of how I found the sport and got into the sport. Was a disc golf course was put into one of the parks in my hometown that I frequented by a guy from Tennessee, a guy named Alan Ross. He moved from Tennessee down to Clearwater and put the course in. And thankfully that he did, My hats are off to him. Thank you for putting the course in. I may have never found the sport of disc golf if you didn't do that. Thank you, Alan Ross.
So cool. So what was it like compared to today? What was it like back in the day playing this?
It was very different. You couldn't find a disc. There was nobody selling discs. The stores didn't have them. There was just nowhere to get a disc. So that was the biggest problem back in the day. There was one guy that would come out to the course and he would open his trunk and he would have a box of discs in there. And if you weren't standing at his trunk when he opened it, you didn't get a disc because they were gone immediately. And he would only get 25 at a time. And if there was 10 people standing around the trunk, you can get two each. But so it was really hard to find a disc in the beginning. That was, I'd say, the biggest difference in today and then is just the availability of the plastic wasn't there.
So what was your first disc?
My first disc was an Innova Coupe. I played with it for 3 months. One disc for 3 months. Only had one disc. Didn't lose it. Then I latched onto a couple other discs, like an Innova XD, and then maybe a couple of Lightning discs that existed back then, and then maybe a couple Discraft discs that existed back then, like a Phantom, something like that, like a Lightning P38, just some Lightning F15 Eagle. There was, not a whole lot of discs out that back then, but I tried what there was, and just tend to like, the more stable stuff. A lot of the stuff back then was really understable. If it was a headwind, you were throwing with 90-degree vertical hyzer to get it to, somehow not roll. That's a big difference too in, yesteryear and now is the technology of the discs. A lot different.
The selection is so large nowadays, right?
Yeah.
So, what would you tell to a person who has never played disc golf before, and never even heard of disc golf before?
I would tell them that they're missing out and they need to go out and try it, play with some friends of theirs that know what they're doing or something like that, and give it a try at least. It's good exercise. You walk a few miles every time you play. Lots of fun, cheap, good exercise.
Awesome.
And you meet a lot of cool people. And if you really get into it, you travel to a lot of cool places and meet even more cool people. So, there's that.
The community.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.